It's Friday, my dudes.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires, in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are not alone. We are striving.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs,
We are waiting.
if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
Oh, TGIF. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Have No Spear, right here on the Iron Realm Media YouTube channel. My name is Josh Corey. Be prepared. Although it is Friday evening, we've also dubbed this Moonday. Guess you could call it Moon Night, but Moonday works a lot better if it's like Monday. So Moonday here on a Friday night. We've got Roxanne. We've got Robin. We've got guests abound because we asked for some shots of the moon, the impossible moon phases, and we got them. So we're going to be talking moon phases. Stick around. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Wow. Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday, my dudes. Let's just jump right in and say hello to the fellas. How about one Mr. John Savage? John showed up a little bit late. He was kind of hiding away there for a little bit. John, how you doing this week?
Oh, I'm doing well, mate. Thanks, Josh. Hope everyone else is doing well. Looking forward to the show. It was a very successful, well, the US side of the moon gazing, impossible moon phases was very successful. As usual, the UK side was a complete overcast washout, so it didn't work at all. But doesn't matter. The moon phases aren't going anywhere. There'll be another one coming around soon enough, but we can tick one in the box of the impossible moon phases, and you only need one. So, yeah.
Well, this Friday night Moonday Impossible Moon Phase show was inspired by you. Yeah, this is all sort of your doing. You're your brainchild here.
It's been a sort of pet project of mine for quite a few years now. These bloody moon phases, and the fact that it's such an obvious and in-your-face example of how the heliocentric ball Earth model doesn't work. But so few people, A, understand it, and B, really get it and see and can see the moon phase and stuff. So, yeah, the more people understand it, the more people will be able to blatantly see these things month in, month out. So, yeah, quite excited about it all, really.
And it's one of those things that people slowly catch on to.
Yeah, and it's something someone quite influential and useful in terms of knowing 3D animation software has shown an interest in now, and hopefully they're going to sort of be able to show us in 3D scaled, modeled software exactly why and how these phases are impossible, and QED why and how the heliocentric ball model is not possible. So yeah, good stuff.
That is really good stuff. So thank you, sir. I think this is going to be an awesome show. So let's head on over to Adam Meakin. He's in here. He's been quite the busy boy this week. Adam, how's your week been? Aside from busy and muted. You know what? Maybe Adam's out there. Maybe he went out for another glass of wine. We'll head on over there to Walter then. Walt, I know we just spoke this morning, but how's your day been? Did you get at least a good nap in?
No, not great. Just a little tiny, quick 20 power nap type situation. It's a hectic day. The whole time change thing screwed me up. I was actually here early for a change, wondering where all you late UK people were, and we figured out that I was the one confused. So shocked there. But yeah, it was a great morning over there on our Ironworks show. If you missed it, what are you doing? Get up or go listen to it. It's there. You should be subscribing to the Ironworks anyway. All right, plug over. It was a good morning and a good day.
It was about a good energy this morning, even being as early as it is. The last few shows have been really good. Seems like we've just been rambling, not talking about a whole lot, but we get a lot of good group participation in the chat because we have our Iron Scouts that are always there ready to participate that early in the morning. We've got
absolutely, man. They make it so much fun. They're there sometimes a couple hours ahead of time waiting for us. Shout out Alan Holman. But yeah, I made some special Iron Scout shirts over there on our Teespring site. I'll pop the link in here. There's a few Iron Rim shirts if anybody's interested. I'm still playing with them, and it's a slow process at times. But yeah, definitely go check them out.
Yeah, that's been fun. I can't wait to be able to sit down and actually start mocking some up. I think they're going to. We've got some good ideas. I'll put it that way. How about you, Adam? Are you back yet? Have you figured out where that mute button is?
Is that how they say it in the UK? Moot.
That's how they say it whenever I talk.
Oh, goodness. We have lost Adam to the cosmos. Some of that, one of those white holes or some of that white matter must have gotten him.
He's gone off to join another hangout, hasn't he?
You're right. He's
you know what a tart is.
Right now.
They need to bust his balls.
Is Timmy Osmond gone live or something? Has he put his cape and underpants on to go and... That's time we introduced our guests, I think, isn't it then?
I think we might as well, since I'm pretty sure Adam's not coming back.
Adam's not coming back. He doesn't get an intro this week.
It's because he put his cape on and took his underwear off. Anyway, we have Robin and Roxanne joining us for their bi-weekly update. So we'll just jump right in with the lovely Roxanne because she's the first one I see on my screen. Roxanne, how you doing this week?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve. My goodness, you sound amazing.
Welcome, Roxanne. You do.
Amazing.
Thank
Who can we thank for that?
Upgrade. We've had a globe denier upgrade in this house, and hopefully you can see and hear me a lot better than before. It was a bit sketchy before. So
loud and clear. I'm digging it.
Good. Onwards and
better.
upwards from here on.
Onwards and upwards. Speaking of onwards and upwards, you are joined by Robin. I think you guys are going to come and fill us in with what's been going on the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys.
Hi, Robin.
Hey, how you doing? You all right?
Oh, it's a long day. Fridays are a long day for me, but I'm just starting to get silly. So I think by the time we're done with this show, it should be a lot of fun.
Welcome, Robin.
Hiya, John. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, very good. Very good. I think we should introduce Dave Marsh as well, just so that he can contribute throughout, because he's on for the the moon stuff later on, probably. So I didn't want to keep him on mute until then. So feel free to
Can I
jump
just
in.
say a disclaimer real quick? Dolly, she's mummy moding, so she might not be able to get on. She was aiming to, but obviously mummy moding takes precedent. So
Yeah, sure. Fingers
we'll
crossed.
watch this space. Yes. Carry on. I yield the floor. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. Well, hopefully Dolly will make it.
And if she isn't able to, we certainly welcome her back anytime.
Awesome. I know even with me, sometimes it can be a bit of a pickle with the younger ones on a Friday night. They kind of know they don't have school the next day. So it's a bit, you know?
Yes, all too well. I do. Well, then let's head on over there to say hi to Dave. Dave Marsh. Dave and I are friends on Facebook. We've actually exchanged a few words and said howdy. So, Dave, it's nice to have you back on here for an extended time. Hopefully this time we can have you on for a little bit longer. But it's a pleasure to have you here on Have No Sphere on the Iron Realm.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a busy week at work. I'm just glad it's over. I've got a couple of days off now. So just looking forward to the weekend, really.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, I think we have a really good discussion up ahead of us. We've got all sorts of topics on this Moonday Friday.
Yeah, we had a good little chat last night, actually, didn't we? So it's it was good.
That was a good chat. Yeah, I'll have to listen to that again sometime.
Got to remember just how good it was. Because that's zetetic. You can't just take everybody's word for it.
Didn't we at one point say we might as well just play the conversation last night tonight? Because as usual, we're never going to have it again, are we? No, we'll see how we get on. It was a good conversation, though. Very good.
Well, I've got something on the back of what you've been looking at anyway, so I thought I'd just maybe bolt that on at the end just to show another impossible moon phase.
Oh, right. Excellent. Yeah, sounds great to me.
Yep, that does sound really good. Well, all right, let's head over there for our bi-weekly update then with Robin and Roxanne. What do you guys?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a little bit busy, and tonight's guest, Dave, is certainly someone who's at the front of my mind at the moment, because tonight we reveal that he is going to be a speaker at the Global Convention in Birmingham, in Kidderminster.
Well done. Didn't see that coming.
The timing for tonight's guest is absolutely impeccable. Hi, Dave. It's going to be awesome.
Hi, Dave. Hi there.
Awesome to have you with us.
Thanks for having me. And like I say, it was a surprise for me. I didn't know about it until this minute now. So yes, thanks for having me.
Well, every 2 weeks we're revealing our speakers, and Dave's known for a while that he has been, but we're revealing it tonight, and thrilled about that. So that segues nicely into your conversation later. I've been also very honoured to be approached by the one and only Mark Devlin, who's going to do some music sets for us in the evening, which
I love him.
Which has thrown me a bit of a swerve ball, because I now need to get an exclusive venue for the evening. Because the convention, I've tried my best to twist their arm to bend their no alcohol policy, but it's not happening. So 5 minutes walk away is a golf club. So there's going to be so much. There's going to be so much we can do with the whole golf club concept. But I'm in the middle of talking to the golf club and booking them as the venue for the evening. And Mark can play his music, and we can all let our hair down, have a beer. I can try and let my hair down anyway, but and that would be excellent. And those are the main two announcements. The Mark Devlin and Dave are coming, but I think we can probably announce, Roxanne, something about the activism side, where I always wanted someone to help with the activism workshop with Jason, and we have two phenomenal people joining us from the States. I think we can definitely announce one of them, can't we? Who we had a chat with this week. She's booking her flight soon. We're sorting out her itinerary. Do you want to announce who that is?
It is Marilyn Spirit Level.
Ooh,
that's a great name.
Yeah, so
awesome. Very awesome.
Marilyn, you're in the chat. We love you, and I hope you're listening, and I hope you are now, not doing work or something, because you said you were listening. we're thrilled that she's coming over, and really want her to have a part in some of the teaching, but also some of the dates on the RV with Jason, which should be superb. I mean, we'll have Jason, D Marble, who else we have? Paul on the plane, Mark Sargent, Marilyn
Me,
T.
hopefully, on one of the legs.
Yeah, happy days, Dave. And Dave Murphy. We're trying to sort of crunch a load of people on the RV, aren't we, in the first 2 weeks, because you can get the UK leg sewn up, and go over to Dublin and Ireland, in Belfast, over to Scotland, back down again to the convention. And Birmingham itself should be absolutely buzzing by the time we've got everyone on board. And I know there is another gentleman joining us, but I haven't really got confirmation on what date and what participation level. But Jason and Roxanne have been working on that. I dare say we'll save that one for another day, won't we, Roxanne?
Yeah, but we do have one that we can announce,
Go on, then.
because we had that on the premiere on my channel. Howard Stirrup, Flat Earth Spain, he is going to make a pilgrimage to come to Valencia and join the tour in Spain as well. So
awesome. Howard's in the chat, isn't he? Hi,
if
Howard.
he is, I haven't properly looked at the chat yet. I just said hi. So Howard, if you're in there, Howard George Stirrup, if he's in the chat, he's just confirmed he's going to be coming to Valencia. So awesome stuff.
This is really coming together, isn't it, guys? And
I also had a contact from Alexander over in Belgrade. He's really looking forward to us coming through there as well. So, and then of course Sasha over at FEMEX. And then there's the Greek guys, and there's a lot. I should have written them down actually. There's a lot. there's a lot. There's a lot.
And on top of that, guys, I got a phone call from the Telegraph last Friday. They called me about lunchtime, and they published an article by 9:00 p.m. And it was not bad. It was on NASA's 50th birthday, the hashtag faking space, or space is fake. I can't remember which way around it is.
Nice.
But in the conversation I had with them, I got a chance to plug Paul on the Plains faking space. And it was cited in the article. Not only that, but I also got a chance to say, this movement is growing exponentially, and that was in the article as well. So I couldn't have asked for more, really, in a little sort of 20-minute conversation for those two sound bites to be published. Very, very excited about that. And I also had Sky News call me up, and I was due to go on Sky TV. I did the mistake of publicizing it to a few people, saying I'm on Sky 4:45, make sure you record it. And then something happened in the news which just overtook it, so it didn't happen. But I'm holding out for another phone call. We want some big coverage now, and I'm sure it'll happen. The more the tour gets publicized, and the more the conventions, because they're springing up everywhere, aren't they? Roxanne, you've just been invited to another convention, haven't you? And there's more.
Sorry, it just delayed there. Yeah, I've been invited to one. I think Dave Murphy's going. A few other people are going as well. It's at Mount Shatner, in California. I'm not sure if I've pronounced that right. But yeah, that's going to be on the weekend in between the UK and Amsterdam.
Is that Mount Shasta?
Shasta.
Maybe?
I'm going to say Shatner.
Shrapnel. I think that's quite a big UFO hotspot, apparently. Can I just interject? Yeah, apparently, yeah. Bring your night sight glasses or whatever. Borrow some off Patricia or whatever. But can I just put Adam out of his misery, because he's finally managed to get back in. So you're there, mate.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that, guy. Work. At the hospital. Yeah, what did I miss? Evening, everyone. Sorry.
Hi, Adam.
Evening, Adam.
We just covered the fact that Dave is speaking at the convention, Dave Marsh. We just announced that tonight.
So look out for the Testing the Moon from a Globe Live perspective presentation.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. And we just covered that Marilyn Spirit Level is joining the tour and helping with an activism workshop at the convention.
Very much. I could join late every week.
And we've also got Mark Devlin playing music. He's doing both conventions in Amsterdam as well. So, you know, conscious music is how he presents his set, and it's uplifting, good stuff. So I can't wait for that.
I missed,
and that's pretty much it, guys. You know,
I'll shut up, Robin. I was going to ramble. And I was doing it again. I'm so sorry, pal.
That's pretty much it. And I just had one bit of personal news, and that is I got approached by a documentary filmmaker last year to do a 5-minute short called A Flat Earther's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's showing in a little film festival at the end of the month in Bristol. So I'm going off to see that and taking a few leaflets with me and answering a few questions, which will be a lot of fun.
Have you seen it already?
Awesome.
Yeah. It was published pretty quickly, actually. It was probably August, September last year.
So it's
on
not
my channel. If you
it's not
no. It's a 5-minute sort of contrasting thing. It's very subtle. It's got slightly sarcastic undertones, but it's not too bad, really. It gives me a good chance to say some good things. There's a slight undertone. Rubens in it, and it's not bad. It's not bad. It's certainly enough to make people go, "What? People are into flat Earth."
Well, that's good. Should you do the Sky thing? I just take the advice of everyone and record everything that they're recording. You record. It's the only insurance policy.
Yeah, good shout. Well, I was on Paul on the plane tonight, and he showed me the Skype recording software of the latest version, and you can't you? So that's all good.
Yeah, quality. That's the way to do it.
It's good. All right. Well, that's pretty much it from me, guys. I'll yield the floor, and you guys want to chat with Dave and Roxanne, then I won't hog the limelight. But if people want to book their tickets are selling. Go to feconvention.com. We'd love to see you there.
Give us the dates as well, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, September the 13th to the 15th, and it's in the Pioneer Centre in Kidderminster. It's free parking, food, drink, accommodation, all laid on for the same price. And you can book slightly cheaper rates if you come direct through Charlotte and myself. We'll send you a link or some details, some bank details to pay instead of going through Eventbrite, where there's about a 5% fee on top. So if you want to save a few quid, go direct. And if you want to save even more, book with friends. So you can pick, there's a discount for 2, 4, and 6 people. So go ahead and try and club together and you'll get a bigger discount.
That's brilliant, Robin. And
Absolutely.
And feel free to butt in, stay on the call and contribute as much as you want, mate.
Thank you. No worries.
And Robin, if you have a link for that documentary, just drop it to us and I'll drop it in the description here.
Okay, no problem. I'll go and get it now.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Have fun, guys. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, things are getting real, aren't they?
Yeah,
Getting
just
real
one
for
thing.
real.
Just one thing. I think Jenna Fredo says she might be joining us later, if that's okay. She was going to just pop in.
Yeah, brilliant. Jenna was one of the contributors to the Impossible Moon phase with a great photo from New York. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I did try and get it today, but I couldn't get it because of the cloud.
I think the whole of England was under a fug of soup of crap.
Yeah, it was a lot of chemtrailing as well.
There was yesterday, definitely, yeah. But never mind, the midday gibbous eludes us for now, but it'll be around again. I think our next one up is May 10th for a midnight crescent in the UK, so something to look out for.
Mm.
Cool.
Mm.
Walk away from the chat.
Excuse me, John. I'm over here trying to book guests for next week. Exactly. New Year's. I
And
can't
I'm dropping links and looking for links. And all
You're a
kinds of
man.
stuff.
You're men.
You had the
can't
helm, Savage.
multitask.
You were at the helm, sir.
Can't remember my name, let alone what I'll
Right.
talk about next.
Touche.
I feel like a baby in the middle of the carpet.
I only just spat my drink out there. That was funny. A
Right.
baby carpet. It's a new one.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what that means, but
No, I'm not sure either.
It's like last
Yeah.
week. That you get one pearl of wisdom a week. That Zach had last week's. That's this.
Does that mean you don't have any underwear on or something?
that got to do with anything? I mean, probably not, but still.
Wasn't he threatening that earlier? What were we talking about? I can't remember.
Capes and underwear.
Well, I'll have you know I've got some low quality cotton stuff made in India on right now.
Okay, that's details we needed. Thank you.
You pushed it, Savage. You.
So next Friday, the New Year's show. What's your big plans for the New Year's show, John? What you got in mind?
I'm taking it off. I won't be here for the next week. Sorry, didn't I tell you?
Nope, this is news to me.
Okay, all right. There's no point giving you too much notice.
More than normal, to be fair.
It is.
Hey guys, Roxanne, shall we mention that Tommy Boyd video? Wasn't that good today?
Oh, do you know what? Have you lot seen it? That video from 2010.
The old school Tommy Boyd from Kids TV. Tommy Boyd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
old
was he
school
on the
like
radio?
that, yeah.
Go ahead.
Talking Flat Earth on Talk Radio, or so was it?
Yeah.
That was legend. That was 9 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the first
Come
time
back
I've
to
seen
the surface again. He's going round the circuit again.
He was found dead, wasn't he, in a bath, in a locked up bag.
We
Tommy Boyd.
didn't we try and contact Tommy Boyd a couple of years ago
Yeah.
to see if he'd come on.
Pretty sure it's in that call is somewhere in our history. I thought we'd uploaded that a couple years ago.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was awesome.
It's just, he says, come on then, prove the globe. It's bollocks. That's what he says about 4 times. It's fantastic.
His career didn't go on much longer than that, did it?
I expect not.
Yeah, but it went on before, mate. CITV.
That's right. Very good. Enjoyed it immensely.
But it's interesting, actually, that the point I took from that was about 3 years ago when I stumbled on it is bloody hell. Look how long ago that was.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't really have that many proofs, and I thought it was slightly endearing that he said, come on, if you start running, you're going to get faster because you're going downhill. He was a bit weak on his flat earth points, but he actually did just straight up challenge the globe, which was really, really good.
I mean, I'm just wondering where he was coming from. I mean, that's the earliest sort of modern day, other than, say the Flat Earth Society doing an interview or something like that, that's the earliest. I mean, that predates, Matt Powland, Eric DeBay, all these other people that are talking about it.
Absolutely.
Where was he coming from? I don't know, but good on him anyway.
That's
I've
what
just dropped the
talking
link
does,
in-
isn't it?
I've just dropped the link in the chat. It's kind of landmark, if you ask me, but I guess it's just my surprise, really. Just didn't expect someone to have been that vocal 8-9 years ago. Good for him, anyway.
I think you could have been that vocal 8-9 years ago without fear of losing your job.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It'd just been a random crackpot statement,
I think
that would be lost in the fog, wouldn't it? But
like a man before his time, really, though, wouldn't it? I mean, imagine if he'd said that 4 years ago or something, he'd probably be bang up there.
I think you have to compare it, don't you, to those that have approached the subject more recently, like Russell Brand, the guys in the States, the big headliner stuff, and how they approach it. And it's quite a very, even those that admit flat Earth, it's quite a standoffish admittance. But what you've got there is Tommy Boyd discussing openly the thought process that we all have. Honestly, it sounds like open, honest debate and thought. And
the fact it went out over a mainstream radio, was it LBC?
I thought it was Talk Radio, was it?
Was it Talk Sport or Talk Radio? I don't know.
Click the link. Click the link.
Get copyright.
You know, talking's important. I just want to check, Rox, this is what I wanted to.
Go on.
You know, talking's important. I don't know if I missed it with me being on talking. But what you're doing, before we got onto the moon stuff, to me, what you've been doing at Speaker's Corner, engaging with people, talking and getting other people to talk, because the scene you creates a great environment for even the spectators to start discussing. As you see,
it becomes more of a thing where you start like forcing the question. Does that make sense? Because no one wants to have the discussion. You just force the question. It's become that elementary to me. I've got a brilliant example of that, actually, what we're talking about with Tommy. You see where he's like, he wants to have the flat Earth discussion, yeah? Like a lot of people want to have the flat Earth discussion. And sometimes you can look at it like, we don't have to have the flat Earth discussion. We can have the globe lie discussion. We don't have to discuss the flat Earth. We can just discuss the fact that the globe's a lie. And sometimes that's a brilliant segue into, let's look at the observations. Everything shows that it's predominantly flat. Now we're having a flat Earth discussion, but we've come into the room in a civilized fashion and got everybody to sit down like civilized adults, if that makes sense. I've got a wonderful example of that. Does anybody know who Patrick Moore is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Co-founder
Games Master.
of Greenpeace. Well, are we talking about the same Patrick Moore, the co-founder of Greenpeace, yeah?
I was talking the astronomer.
Yeah, I thought he was on about the astronomer.
Patrick Moore, the astronomer, okay? Co-founder of Greenpeace.
The Games Master.
Games Master, baby.
Everybody loves a game. I was a gamer back in the day. But yeah, this week, Patrick Moore from Greenpeace, co-founder of Greenpeace, he said, and I quote, "The whole climate crisis is not only fake news, it's fake science. There is no climate crisis. There's weather and climate all across the world. In fact, carbon dioxide is the main building block of all life." Wow! Exclamation mark. End of quote. There's someone who's trying to have the discussion about it being a lie. Does that make sense? Does everyone get the analogy I'm making there? He's not trying to have the flat Earth discussion. He's having the discussion of, look what you're taught. It's a lie.
There is Tony's kind of legal precedent with regards to climate change, global warming, whatever narrative they want to paint it into, obfuscate the issue, is a good example of exactly that, mate. Science, the word science is being used and portrayed to basically support a political narrative or a viewpoint, and the word is used incorrectly. And it's good to see that outside of flat Earth, that actually and climate change is a great example where you are seeing scientists, in quotation marks, coming out and making those statements that, what science are you talking about? That's exactly. Not true, and it's not honest, and it's not proven.
Can I just clarify, though, for anyone who's a little bit confused, this is not Patrick Moore, Games Master,
It's not
the
that
astronomer. No,
Mm.
he died a while ago, but this is Patrick Moore, I think he's the president of Greenpeace Canada. But yeah, he's very much still alive, and that's the guy I'm presuming you're talking about.
Nowhere near as cool.
Although, saying that, Patrick Moore, the astronomer, has had flat Earth. He did a segment on a documentary about flat Earth.
I've seen it.
Yeah, and he went
Oddie
to...
Picker mirrored it this week again, John.
That's right. That's right. And he went to speak to, is it Daniel Shelton? Who had something to do with the Flat Earth Society, but this is, I think, before it became corrupt, or not corrupt, but so before someone pooed in the punch bowl. And he was at his house, and he developed this telescope that could see better than most other telescopes, and it was quite fascinating, really. And to be honest, I think Patrick Moore, the astronomer, was a closet flat earther of some degree, or at least a geostationary.
I like the apologetic way he introduces himself, and the way he it's a sign of the times for me, that introduction. He comes on and says, I'm Patrick Moore, and I believe that it's a ball, we're on a ball, I believe the moon's a ball, la la la. And it's not spoken like the Patrick Moore of the old man towards the end, 10 years ago when he was on TV, and even at the end with the assurity and the and it was a lot more of an, and he's still a man my age at that point, you know what I mean? But he's talking to these men senior in his age respectfully and taking on their point. And like I said, the bit I was is the way he introduced his viewpoint. And what I found interesting was it's odd to put that narrative in, unless, of course, the audience back then, 50 years ago, that the viewpoint he's giving needed some apologetics. And that's what he gave. And that was the thing this week when I saw it again, John, the bit that resonated with me, the bit that I thought, oh, because obviously before you love the eccentric boffins, but yeah, I thought it was odd. It's
very chosen language, wasn't it? It was very deliberately chosen language to not offend either side or whatever, but also it's something you wouldn't do unless you'd paid it some serious thought. It
was like an evangelist talking to a room of scientists. The way he introduced his viewpoint, it was very, very, I say, odd, mate. Listen to it again, and it's very weird.
Did you see the episode where he was talking to the guy who could contact the Martians, and it come out of his mouth? Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
that was quite an interesting episode.
So maybe he was just giving Daniel Shelton the benefit of the doubt. But I was also interested and quite impressed that he'd been going around universities and speaking and stuff. He wasn't shunned as a crackpot or whatever. He was actually, being invited to universities to give lectures and things like this. So
the other thing I noticed changed again, and I want to look at it, John, is one of the guys, not the telescope, like when he's discussing the flat plane of the Earth and his model that he creates. I thought it was very interesting that the way in which he managed to generate the only way in which his magnetic understanding would be that would stand a pin up was to generate two individual magnetic fields either side with the Earth sat in that dielectric plane. Which, if you look at a lot of modern thinking, he worked it out in his shed. Power to the man cave.
Well, he had a model, didn't he, with the needle, and it was standing upright. I mean, and then all his diagrams. So he reminded me of Martin Kenny, you know, expected him to pull out some paper mache Earth model or whatever. It was, yeah, it was quite amusing. Wonder if he's still alive.
Doubt it, mate. 70.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we have a jam-packed show, apparently. So much so that I can't now mention that Mercury's now our nearest planet. There's not enough time to talk about
Good.
No, we actually need to.
that.
What the fudge is happening, man? The end of the world is nigh.
It's not just our closest planet. We can't be selfish. I believe the headline is it's every planet's closest planet.
Oh,
Somehow.
Wait,
Somehow.
what?
Seriously?
Yeah. I'll have to dig it up. Let me find it.
is
I
it
thought
like the
it was
LGBT of planets?
Traveling through the solar system, shaking hands. Hey, how you doing?
Unless I misread that headline, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read.
Maybe we all revolve around Mercury.
Guys, I'm going to shoot now. So thanks for having me on. Been a pleasure.
Cheers, Robin. Have a decent night.
Have a good
Rest of your
weekend.
night.
Cheers, Robin. Bye
Take
bye.
care, Dave. See you soon. Cheers, Rox.
Bye.
See you soon.
Stay away from that karaoke, mate.
No, let's rock. Let's rock.
Yeah, rocking, Robin. See
Take
you
it
later,
easy.
guys. All the best.
Blessings.
And then there were 7.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, it's something interesting I thought about. I saw about that Mercury is now Earth's nearest planet on average. It's not Venus anymore. So
Right,
when I
that's the one
looked
I
at the
saw.
paper,
It's not Venus, it's Mercury. Right.
yeah, and when I looked at it, it said 2 assumptions have been made: that the orbit of the planets are circular, and that there is no angular deviation, so we're all circling on the same angle, on the same, what's it called?
Is it still elliptical?
Mm-hmm. No, it's not. They're
No,
assuming it's
concentric.
that's what they said. Yeah, they said it's concentric. It's circular, and then they go on to take mean averages and you know, throughout a year, and then state to a minute case that Mercury is actually closer to us. But they've just ignored the eccentric, and you were saying, wasn't it, Walt, that
right.
isn't it because of the eccentric elliptical orbit of Mercury that makes it possible that we can see it at night, which of course in any normal person's model you couldn't see it at all at night because it's going around the sun.
Wouldn't you get transits a lot more often as well?
All the time, you'd think.
I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking about the whole morning, nighttime. How are we seeing it? If it's
Yeah, it'd be transiting the sun a lot more often.
I think it's
guys,
just
John, can I just get a bit clear? Because I've not read this. Are you telling me that? Let's just keep it simple. Sun to Earth in their model. Are you telling me that sometimes Mercury is closer to the Earth than Venus is?
On average, apparently.
Yeah, but that's see, this is bollocks, because there's 2 ways of playing this. There's the natural way they want to fuck around with your mind, which is to pretend that there's, as you saying there, there's this overlaps of elliptical orbits where in some way that potentiates the probability that Venus and Mercury could collide. But I think what they're actually talking about is because Mercury spins so fast in its base circular orbit, but a lot of the time Venus is actually on the other side of the sun and Mercury is this side for more of the time because it spins so fast, so that on average Mercury's closer. But that's only because when Venus is on the other side, its translational orbit and therefore the average distance is greater. On the other side, it becomes magnified. Does that make sense?
Well said. Yes.
It makes sense, but what doesn't make sense is that Mercury is one of the dimmest planets you could ever see if you can spot it. You know what I mean? That makes a lot of sense, being closer to the sun, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So why is it so dim?
But why did they not include the elliptical orbits, and why did they not include what else was it they said? It's circular and it's on the same angle.
Ecliptic plane.
Ecliptic plane. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, that's it. I mean, why wouldn't they include that in their modern day scientific paper?
Settled science. Settled science. Why are we questioning? This is settled science. Oops, wait. Well, sort of.
I mean, surely that has a direct influence on their nonsense average distance from the Earth. What does it matter with the average distance of the Earth to Mercury if you're going to assume that it has a circular orbit and that it's on the same ecliptic plane? It's just pointless. What an absolute waste of time.
Exactly.
There it is, futurism.com. Mercury is every planet in the solar system's closest neighbor.
Oh, you got to read some of that, mate. How did they explain that?
Sure, I didn't misread that because it surely stuck out in my brain too.
Right,
Well,
so that's
actually-
the whole point. That's the whole point, guys. When I was talking, same will apply because planets get further away from then the translational distance, the other side, is even more magnified and the time is more magnified. But
Yeah,
Mercury is still fizzing around the middle constantly,
so it's
being
closest to
close
everything.
to all the planets or over on an average point of view. So it's not science, it's statistic.
Well, it's actually horseshit because they still don't know the distance to Mercury or Mars or the Sun or anything else. They only know this by guessing. But some boffin looked up at this little dot in the sky called Venus and said, "Yeah, that looks about the same size as Earth." Absolutely.
I believe it was Kepler.
Kepler, that was the fraud. And possibly even the murderer of Tycho Brahe. Who suddenly died of maybe mercury poisoning, and then Kepler took all his paperwork and life studies and turned it into the horse shit that we are taught today in school, which is the 0.72 AU that Mercury, Venus is, sorry. But yeah, it was all based on an assumption that Venus is the same size as Earth, and no one even knows the size of Earth at that point. So it's just nonsense after nonsense. What this tells me is that NASA and the agencies, spacey agencies, are literally falling apart. They're pulling themselves apart. They don't know. Last year, what was it? They didn't know the distance to the sun, or the sun was bigger than they actually thought. Now the moon is in our freaking atmosphere. How have they got away with that?
There was 2 moons at one time.
2 moons.
They said there were 2 moons as well.
We're being followed by another exoplanet as well that no one even noticed up until a couple of years ago, called, what was it, Theta or Ceres or something, or there's several of them. So
several of them, yeah. They've been doing this for 150 years. Planet X, Planet 9, all sorts of different names they've had for it, but it's nothing.
And don't forget Earth's atmosphere stretching out as far as the moon.
Yep, 500,000 miles now Earth's atmosphere is. How did they not know that when they're going to the moon? How did they land a probe on Venus or get anywhere near it if they assume that it has a circular orbit and it's just...
Well, if you look at the Parker Solar Ball trajectory, it uses an elliptical path, and it uses them paths to meet up with, to have flybys of Venus. So, you know what I mean? So they're stating in one breath that they are on an ellipse, or it's following an ellipse, and then in another breath they're saying, no, actually it's concentric.
Well, they're saying in one breath that they know what the path of its orbit is, and in another so-called scientific study, they just ignore that data. I mean, surely that data is available for its elliptical orbit. They could have programmed that in. I mean, we're just talking maths here anyway. Why were they such lazy bastards? They couldn't actually put its elliptical orbit in and its angular. It's
Exactly. And also, why didn't that Parker solar probe take a photo of Earth when it was 20,000 miles out or 200,000 miles out? It waited till it was 26 million miles out to take a shot. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm sure if you got the opportunity to take a picture of Earth, you take the best opportunity and the best distance to get the best image.
Yeah, but it's that special lens for just the sun, and they'd have to readjust the ISO. Come on, Dave, man.
well, you at this day and age. I mean, it's 2019 for crying out loud. They wouldn't have to take a picture of it. They'd have streaming video
Live feed.
of it. I mean, it was like the CubeSats that supposedly went to Mars and then said, "Oh, look, here's the latest picture of Earth," and it's like 3 pixels in size. That was the first time that someone thought on their, million miles journey to Mars, oh shit, better turn around and take a photo of that. That someone
And we've
might want
got
to see
new
that.
probes and whatnot coming to Mars, but we're not going to worry about taking video of that with these CubeSats. No.
No, it's not as if anyone's actually questioning our validity and our, whether we're full of shit or not and been fleecing you for 50 whatever million a day. They couldn't just take some streaming video of Earth as they flew away from it on the way to Mars. One camera on the front, one camera on the back. Way out of their
Well,
budget.
not only are they trying to cover their ass with all the fake space, they also put out a story we talked about this morning that is trying to cover their ass on how geologically these bizarre waterfalls happen at the top of these tall mountains and tall buttes with no obvious water source. Now they've kind of got a theory because they did some kind of test in the lab with some styrofoam and some rocks, and that explains it for sure. And it's just ridiculous. Again, that kind of ties back into the whole no trees on flat Earth root system carrying the water up to the top of these buttes. Kind of here they are trying to explain it again because they really had no explanation. Some of the ideas that they put forth for how the water gets up there just doesn't make sense in any of the geological models we've been given.
I would say it makes sense insofar as the inclined bed therapy makes sense with the density of blood and that whole mechanism. That it's not a pump, it's not a, I mean, they could raise water way higher. What is it, 10 meters that they say you can't siphon? You can't create a siphon higher than sort of 10 meters or whatever. But this guy, the inclined bed therapy guy, showed that he could make a pump sort of system that would go way, way higher than 10 meters. And I imagine that's, and his whole premise was, how do trees get water or sap up to the very, very tip tops of these 100-meter high cedars and things like that? How does that work? And he nailed it on the head. It's called density and buoyancy, relative density, basically. Sorry,
Cool.
went a bit geeky there.
Just a question. Jennifer was trying to join the chat, but she says it won't let her join. I did send her the link that I received. She should be able to join through that, shouldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
It may have
It
expired.
may have expired. Yep. Thank you. You got it, Josh?
I do. So, Dave, if I give that to you over on Facebook, can you get it to her?
Yeah, if you message me on Messenger, I'll pass it straight on.
You're muted.
You're not muted. You've gone
I was.
muffled. There we go. Oh, right.
Yeah, I had the microphone off.
And we just had a huge dip on our thing. Did we go off air?
So our invites are like Mission Impossible, are they? Sort of self-destruct after 10 minutes.
Exactly. If you choose not to accept this mission within a certain time frame, yeah, you blew it. So
awesome.
While we're
just throwing this out to chat, were we offline for any period of time? I'm seeing some very strange things on the live dashboard that implied for about 10 minutes we had nobody watching, which
that's all good at this end, Walt.
Surely someone's talking to us in chat.
I've got some exciting news, Adam.
Go ahead.
I'm coming up to Nottingham soon.
Boosh.
Mhm.
Go on then, fill me in.
Lost.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say to you, Roxanne, be more to you. I don't say be less to people anymore when they sneeze. I've learned language, so be more twice.
Cool. What did you? What I heard? Did you say go more?
Be more.
Be more
Be-
instead of be less. That's when you say to somebody, "Bless you," be less you. I'm gonna say, "Be more you."
Yeah. Don't call me Bullet for nothing, do they? Be more.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah, I got some good news. I'm going up to Nottingham to take part in a debate. More details to follow, because I'm not really sure how much I can say yet. But it's in April, so about halfway through April, so it's not far. So I'm coming up to Nottingham. I'm going to come and beast it at Nottingham University.
Cool.
Nottingham really is the centre of the UK, isn't it, at the moment? With everything. Nottingham was the centre of the law movement, centre of this flat earth, this everything.
The country.
Centre of the country, yeah. Stuck
Yeah,
out
I'm
here
only
on the
30 minutes
fringes.
from Nottingham as well.
See, when do you go to New Zealand?
6 weeks.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
tell
it's-
us about that.
I'll be up there before then. Maybe if it works out, maybe we should all link up for like something to eat or something.
Speaker's Corner, Nottingham. There's a
there
Speaker's
one up
Corner in
there?
Nottingham. Yeah.
Is there one up there?
Yes.
Is it in the half-term holidays, Rox?
Don't know.
I-
That's why I said
I hope
more
not.
details to follow. I just know it's it might be in the half-term holidays
Oh, I
because
hope
it's
not.
halfway through April. So with a bit of luck, it will be.
I'm in Italy. So I hope not.
Oh, never mind. So yeah, I don't know. I
well,
don't know. I don't.
If you're not, mate, I hope you're crashing at mine. Reed does a good tea.
I will keep you posted, and as soon as I have some dates, you guys will be the first to know.
That's cool. Dave, tell us about New Zealand. What's that all about?
Well, there's a girl called Adriana, and she's organised a Flat Earth Expo for April, I believe, the 28th and 29th, the Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be a number of speakers there. There's going to be like a meal on the Friday night. Then they're going to have some presentations on the Saturday, and there's going to be like a debate on the Sunday. Robbie Davidson's going, Mark Sargent, I believe, myself, and a few others from Australia and New Zealand. So it should be quite good. And I think they're going to visit the Lord of the Rings site as well on one of the days. All the set there, I believe so. But the thing is, it takes so long to get there. Like I leave on the Wednesday, and I get there the Friday morning, and I leave on the Tuesday and get home on the Thursday morning. So it's a long way to go. Like to spend a few days. You know what I mean? I would have liked to spend a little bit longer, but I don't get that many holidays from work, so I've got to use them sparingly, and I'm just trying to use them when I need them.
Where are you going via? Where are you stopping over?
Qatar, is it?
Oh yeah.
So
It's a shame. I mean, from England, really, you should just head north to get to Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, you should do, really.
I mean, it's still a hell of a long way, but there really isn't. Well, I suppose there must be refueling or something.
You know, if Zach was
Or
here,
not.
he'd say language is important. So I'd ask you to qualify why you say you should.
Because that's where I think it is. After being there 6 times.
Yeah, so
No, quantify it, John. I just want you to mean that. Like, should head if we were on a ball, or should head if it's a plane.
Should head if it's a plane. Looking at the time zones and when they're light and when we're dark, and sort of knowing the time zones, because obviously being married to an Australian, she calls home every Sunday, so we're acutely aware of the time zones and the summer times, backwards and forwards, and all the rest of it. In terms of a large clock that centres on the North Pole, then I would say the quickest way to Australia is straight over the top of the North Pole. Does that help? Does that explain it?
I saw your icon.
Guess not.
I'm
Yes.
pondering.
Yeah, I'm kind of mulling it over too myself.
I suppose straight line. Yeah.
Well, let me bring up a map, or not a map, a theory. Feel free to cover.
Nah.
I thought you were going straight into the.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Bated breath. Sorry.
I've got a good cover. Let me put my camera on. Saying that I'm not gonna.
Hold on, let me share then.
You're a sod.
Well, you were slower than me. So there, you got England there. Can you see it? You got New Zealand there. So you just fly over the North Pole and go to New Zealand. What you do is go down to Qatar, wherever that is down here. I've been to Mumbai, I've been to Singapore, I've been to Korea.
Singapore's the main.
No, there's loads. It depends which
If you do the Singapore
flight you get.
Look, that's straight. That's fine.
But look, here's England. There's New Zealand. So, I mean, it is a long distance, but
Yeah, but that's the point of the Singapore stopover, isn't it? That's where you change and the refuel because it's about halfway.
well, that's going all the way around here. I mean, what? They
No,
probably
straight
are
over,
there.
straight over Eurasia, further down, and you're at Singapore, aren't you? So there you go.
But you don't fly over Russia. You fly down here. You follow these routes, these winds here.
Yeah, right.
This is what you're doing, and that's probably the reason why they don't go north, because they'd be buffeted over here, buffeted over there, and it might actually take longer. Because I'm not an idiot. I think these guys, airlines fly these routes to the bean counters, dictate. If it's cheaper some way, then they would be doing it. But as the crow flies, you really just want to go straight north and see if you hit New Zealand. Anyway,
The reason I raised that was that exact picture, John, and I think there are a multitude of reasons why air routes they are, whether it be flat or ball, to try and draw some inferences to one meaning anything, especially on routes like that, where realistically a stopover is necessary on either model. But what I was going to say was, mate, have a look at this. The truth will be out by the end of the week, but I've managed.
Oh, you got one.
I managed to get hold of a copy of it, and there are some pictures.
Hey!
Oh, pictures. Oh, that's what the earth looks like. Aha. Oh, you know.
I think
you lot know shit. There's a
I stumbled onto Antonio's live hangout the other night when you lot stood me up, and I was fumbling around in the shed wondering what to do. And I'd love to read it, but
it says a special bit in the front. It says Adam disfrutar mate Antonio. See?
I do believe that Slyman Dan is going to do a review of it in a couple of weeks.
I hope people have the respect. Look, all I wanted to say on this was, look, the reason I'm not showing you, and it's a shitload of work in here, guys. Really good pictures. These some good, really interesting pictures.
He's a controversial character, and I wish him the best of luck. And I think it was genius the way he marketed it and sold it via eBay. Good luck to him. And
I'll tell you what, John. I'll tell you what. Looking at this, it makes a lot more sense of your route. Oh, that stopover makes a lot more sense. Anyway, the point I was going to make was, respect, fella, there's a hell of a lot of work in here, and I'm not showing nothing, and it cost me 20 quid, £2.95, and I think for me, that's worth more than a super chat. And respect, Antonio. I shall be really looking forward to it. I will have to share it offline with the guys. But hopefully, mate, the intrigue gets you a few sales, because
I saw one selling.
maritime law and the postal system. It's flat earth and it's mud flood.
I mean, I saw one sell on eBay for over 2,000 quid. I don't know if that was a
2,000 quid. I think give me £1,000 now. You can have. I've read it by Monday, the time I post it.
You're supposed to sign it, aren't you, Adam?
I'll sign it. In fact, after Antonio's signature, I'll sign it at the end. Then, if someone wants £1,000, John. In fact, I'll get all the IRM crew. Rocks, come past your house for a little scriggle.
But does anyone know if that one that went for £2,000 was a scam, or because I saw he put out a couple of videos about scamming eBayers and this sort of thing? So I don't know. Does anyone else know?
I think some twat's been like overbidding and on loads of them and not paid up, so that his book don't get out there. That's the only thing I noticed. But...
Didn't they do that with the new £5 notes with the AK-47s?
Oh yeah,
Plug them on for 80 grand on eBay.
Kept checking my till that week. Tell you what, Dave,
I got one. I've got one.
Aren't there online businesses now that you can publish your book and literally as they receive the order, the book gets printed out?
Ooh, look at that one. A little bit of science. I don't know. Is it an observation?
Lulu, I think Lulu.com, I think, is one of those online publishers.
And they literally print to demand. So if you got 50,000 suddenly people asking for it, then that's fine. They'd just have their printers turned on and 50,000 would chuck out, and they'd be, I don't know, maybe the markups are crazy or something. I don't know. But what you got there, Josh?
Oh, whoa.
This is my dad's book that he had printed via Lulu.com, and this was 12 years ago that he had this done. So I'm sure there's people out there that can do it. And this is relatively quality. It's paperback, but nice glossy photo on the front. He picked everything. He picked the picture. It's got his photo on the back, his little blurb. I mean, it's a couple hundred pages.
Yeah, I think Eric DeBay's book's probably along the same lines, and all of those like Robotham books and Terra Firma and all those sort of things, they're all being, I think they're being printed to demand. But
John.
hats off to Antonio for his marketing tactics. I thought they were really cool.
Theological question, right? Imagine if there was a big fuck off mud flood, got wiped out, right? 200 years time, some boffin dug up this. They based an entire civilization upon it.
Ooh, that'd be good. An entire civilization and an entire
world where ape evolved from man. No, I'll stop.
I was
a secret society built around sun worship. Interesting.
Well, it beats the absolute horseshit I'm reading in a book at the moment called Out of My Later Years. I don't know if anyone's read it. It's authored by some crackpot called Einstein. And it's utter gibberish.
I heard he was a shitbag, John. I don't know if you...
Einstein. Oh, we should Google that. Einstein shitbag. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. But I thought I'd buy, I think it was one of his latest books before he died. And I thought, well, if you want to get to know the man and see what he's talking about when he's older, when you've lost all the dumb and cum and all the rest of it. And no, it was absolute, utter gibberish. Reading this thing was just justifying his own fantasies and how I mean, it had classic quotes in it. I might see if I can bring one up. It was about how we all can agree on the definition of science, which I thought was quite apt. Savage. Let me see. I'll just scroll back and get that, but you carry on talking. It's fine.
Can I play catch up for it? Because
Mustard, you?
some of that wussy French stuff. There was a couple of bits I wanted to make. I've noticed Dolly's not here.
Yes.
And I just wanted to address the. And you'll probably second me on this, Rox. Just a shout out to the Flat Earth philanthropist, Tony. I know he's been doing some work this week, and I just want a warning for anyone out there that's a fledgling YouTuber. If you kind of get a gangster pink microphone in the post, it's Tony. You'll be the second, Rox. I know Dolly's the third, and I think Ranty has the posthumous title of being the first.
Hey. My microphone came from Robin, thank you very much.
Was it? I bet he pimped it, yeah. Shout out to Robin then. I know there's a lot of work, mate, on that, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Tony. I know he's doing that work out there, and respect, fella.
Massive shout.
And I did want to mention it's not just girls. He did help Ranty out as well. But yeah, so
unless of course Ranty is a girl, but let's not go there. You never know. Anyway, going back
that's
to
some bad makeup.
Going back to Einstein, right? This is straight out of his book or whatever, his last book. He says, and I'm going to attempt to read here, so bear with me. It would not be difficult to come to an agreement as to what we understand by science. Science is the century-old endeavor to bring together by means of systematic thought and perceptible phenomena of this world into as thoroughgoing an association as possible. To put it boldly, it is the attempt at the posterior reconstruction of existence by the process of conceptualization. Yeah.
Sounds great.
You get that?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a difficult read.
That sounds like basically we're making up the shit that began at the beginning of time.
It does, doesn't it? This is quite amusing. And if you look at this book, it's called Out of My Later Years, Essays, Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955. If you look at this book, it's got numerous chapters or whatever, but this is his chapter titles under public affairs. He's got chapter 18, Why Socialism? ? 19, The Negro Question. 20, Science and Society. 21, Towards a World Government. 22, The Way Out. 23, On Receiving the One World Award. 24, Science and Civilization. 25, A Message to Intellectuals. And 26, Open Letter to the General Assembly of the United Nations. 27, Dr. Einstein's Mistaken Notions, an open letter to Sergei Vavilov. Reply to the Soviet scientists. Yeah, so interesting chapter titles, I thought there, especially the Negro question.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking
But I
the
would
same
say
thing.
within that, it read like a Masonic document. Topics.
Didn't it?
Opposed
One
to-
world government,
as opposed to
United
that of
Nations.
a
Sounds
theoretical
like George Bush,
mathematician.
senior.
Very interesting. Shows the man was thinking a lot more, or had to consider a lot more than just.
I will put a link to that PDF version of it in the chat. Should I?
Yes.
Or should I give it to you, Josh, and you can put it in the description?
Sure. Here, Walt. Somebody will take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, please do. Drop it somewhere and tell me where it's at, and I'll drop it in there.
Okay, I'll bung it in Twitter.
According to, let's see, let me go back and make sure. Gleam in chat. Apparently, Albert Einstein was offered to be or asked to be Prime Minister of Israel. I missed
He
that.
was, yeah. He turned it down.
Indeed, I see a bunch of links about it.
Yeah, that was
He
really
turned
odd.
down presidency of Israel. Wow. Okay, moving on.
He was a problem.
You're tuning in to the Iron Room Media Have No Sphere show.
Google Einstein shitbag.
Google Einstein shitbag. Savage.
Anyway, yeah, put us back on track, Adam.
Savage!
There it is. I knew you'd find it. Zach would have been on it.
I find it very strange that in some way any form of Jewish question could be, what's strange about a patent clerk from Austria turning down the presidency of an Arabic country full of Sephardic people?
Got time for that.
No, but there's nothing unusual in that. It would be perfectly reasonable for the man to turn that job down. Not qualified. Don't understand.
I'd turn it down if they offered it to me too.
I wouldn't know what I'd do. I'd have a couple of weeks in Tel Aviv, let's be honest. But after that, I'd probably give it up.
There you go. Make them sell you.
Yeah. Couple of Aperols by the beach. A little bit of financial advice.
Are we killing time now?
I've no idea.
Yeah, I was actually looking into
Teetering on the edge of
You're
anti-Semitism.
multitasking again, aren't you? Well,
I am. I was looking at the Utes comment about globe destroying points that never get talked about by anybody in flat Earth anymore, just to see what it was. And it seems to be the whole aphelion, perihelion speed change that would be necessary to get us around the sun. I'm thinking, is that what we're doing here? I'm not sure. I'm having to read through it.
or the moon around the Earth. Yeah, all those changes. They actually do talk about that. I think they call it
gravity.
No, it's something like
Marshmallow is the moon.
Sorry.
You found your
What?
soundboard now, haven't you?
Was that Steve Martin? Was that Navin Johnson?
That was Navin Johnson. That's who that was.
I thought that was Zach.
If you would have listened to the Ironworks this morning, that inside joke would have been so much funnier.
But what's an inside joke if everyone around you doesn't feel awkward?
That's it.
No, they call it something shift, where they say that it's like an orange peel, a loose orange peel around a satsuma or something. They say that the crust shifts and twists as it goes around the sun, and it was horseshit when I read it, but it was some Harvard paper, and I think it was Voice of Reason or that other one, Einstein was wrong or some crap on Twitter. It put it to me seriously, and it was like, no way. So he's sort of suggesting that we are accelerating and decelerating on the surface, and we don't feel it. We just don't feel it.
I find nothing better than a spastic analogy as a good way of explaining a complex time.
I'm not sure spastic's the right word.
Well, I'm sorry. I think it's about the right word, mate.
I think you meant Joey Deacon, surely.
Well, if you're talking like that, and the best analogy you can come up with is an orange peel flipping round.
Now's the time for the soundboard with Hawking. Who remembers Joey Deacon? You must do, Roxanne. Yeah, you remember. See,
Who?
actually, you're probably too young. In fact, I'm going to definitely say you're too young to remember Joey Deacon. Adam, you do.
No, don't know what you're on about.
Really? Oh, okay. Google that then.
Google that.
It's your generation, Adam. Where were you? Stuck under a rug? Actually, Dave, you look about the right age as well.
Yes, I've heard of it. Yeah, we used to call people Joey's.
We will.
I dropped a link to the diagram that we were talking about, or sort of talking about there, for whoever wants to share it. I'm not going to attempt to because I will break my computer, but I grabbed it there. It's in the.
Sorry, memory's gone. What were we talking about?
The Zoom chat about the speed change problem.
Oh, yes.
But before we ramble on too much,
I know we're getting way too far off.
We're about to head to the break anyway. Mr. Savage, going to chat a bit of moonage afterwards.
Moonage, I like it.
Some impossible moon phases.
Yes, and I've got one as well.
Excellent. Well, it was something I've been banging on about for years, and then someone on Twitter, being vegan, I think, lovely lady, assuming it's a lady, said to me, well, I haven't seen one of those personally, so how would I know? And I thought, well, to be honest, have I seen one of them personally? So how would I know? But so that sort of started the whole quest to ask for evidence of the crescent moon at midnight and the gibbous moon at midday, and the rest will ensue after the break, I imagine.
Absolutely. I've got Zach's video pulled up too. Full confession, that wasn't really Nathan Johnson. That really was Zach.
Thought I recognised the voice. I actually thought he bombed in just for a second. When I first thought there, but the point.
I knew Zach. I knew it was Zach.
Yeah, but this morning you might not have known if it was Zach or not.
It didn't fool me. I can tell Zach's voice anyway.
It fooled the man himself. He heard a voice and thought it was his own voice, and it was Steve Martin's character from The Jerk. I interrupted because I thought it was Zach with his mic open talking to the dog or talking to Adam, and I truly stepped in to cover Zach with an open mic again, and it wasn't. It was Josh playing a clip from The Jerk, Nathan Johnson. I'm like, oh my God, it's sure Zach. Not just me. Zach thought it was his own voice. It's insane. It really sounds just like
Well, I hope you got that clipped so we can play it later.
Yeah, John, just on the back of that, I did find that equatorial, the lunar eclipse, which was shot with the equatorial mount. I found it now as well, so I'll be able to show that too.
absolutely awesome.
Excellent. You'll have to explain that one because I've totally forgotten what we were talking about.
Yeah, we was on about. You said you probably still expected to still have a little bit of drift with it. Obviously, set up to the north celestial pole.
It was only last night, Dave. He won't have replayed it, and it's set in the long-term memory yet.
That sounds far too intelligent for anything I'd come out with. I'd be interested. I'm intrigued to learn more about that.
John, you were last night.
I know. Yeah. Well, I don't know, but apparently.
I love you.
Alzheimer's is a great thing, isn't it?
Oh.
Who are you?
It is like. Right. Shall we, John? It's Moon Night. So, do you want Gravity to play out with?
fuck off.
Roxanne on the drums.
That's Riley in the
Is that
house.
Riley? Right.
It's like you can tell she didn't get the keyboard off Riley. It's not.
Had to be keyboard from Riley.
So here you go, John. I got this for you. See if you can tell the difference.
Marie, are you awake?
That wasn't
Do it
it?
again. Do it again.
You look so. Marie, are you awake?
I don't like the way he says Marie. That freaked me out.
You look so beautiful and peaceful.
Dude, when I heard him say that, I thought it was like asking somebody in the room, "Are you awake?" I'm like, "Oh shit! Well, we're back on the ironworks." And
Adam's going to
Zach
wake
did
up
it.
with nightmares now
Yeah.
and see Zach with a knife over his bed.
Marie, you
Marie,
awake?
are you awake? Okay, have we gone far enough off track?
No, you've not answered whether you want me to play Gravity.
I told you, fuck
Mute
off.
up, Rocks.
Sorry?
Mute up. It sounds like you've got the drums out.
Sounds like you've got your microphone sitting on the same table as your keyboard.
I am so sorry. I'm gonna get there with this different setup. I didn't realise the mic was picking that up. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's all right.
I'm so sorry.
Nice typing with him there. Hell, you're not a one finger girl.
Nope, no hunting and pecking there. Well, if you've got it, Adam, I say we just do it.
Well, if you want to give me a minute, I shall take us there, mate. That's not a problem. But I need a minute.
How do we not learn every week?
Because I was enjoying myself, and then Josh goes, "Do
You
that."
should be hovering over the button about 30 minutes ago.
Now, normally I've got a good 20 minutes before I say round up.
All right, we have stuff to play, John. We don't have to worry about your pregnant
Fear
father.
is the mind killer. Fear is the little death. This is Uncle Walt from the Ironworks. Josh, Corey, and I have chosen to look at life with no fear. No fear of the unknown. No fear of questions about the supposedly well-known. No fear of ridicule for thinking outside the familiar fool's lines. No fear of the boot on the neck of those refusing the party line. No fear of taking on those so convinced of their beliefs they would sooner drink the Kool-Aid than believe they've been fools made. In this world filled with me too, cattle think, can truth's protective layers be peeled back to show the tender, juicy pink? Are we all just grist for the mill? Souls sold against our will, or is that just how it feels? When you're filled to the rim, trivialities so fear-filled and grim, break clear of the fear. Right here, Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 a.m. on TFR. Josh and I and you will hammer out the impurities of technology-driven groupthink, fold in a dash of logic, and punch it all with a bit of absurdity. Break free of the fear.
Welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show.
Nice.
Red Hen Radio, where truth fears no investigation. What do you know? What do you believe? Who are you? Where did you come from? Where are you going? How will you determine the way? What you think is news for you is only and absolutely propaganda. It's spin. There is no news for you. Only misdirection and disinformation. Join us here at Red Hen Radio as we discover how to squint
when what we see isn't what ought to be, because truth is not counterintuitive.
Reading between the lines of the story you were just fed. I'm your host, Travis Finley. Welcome to the show. Do you know that you're part of the show? Well, you don't know if it's part of the show.
Well, that was bizarre.
I got a little crazy with knobs. Don't mind me, Travis. That was a little teacher. We do have Travis in the room. He will be joining us as well because he got some pretty good shots of the moon. Sorry for butchering that, Travis. I was just hitting how well that would work.
I thought you got him on helium.
Like a kid in a toy shop, aren't you?
And I'm
can't stop
doing that in the
pushing
background. Genuinely. I'm genuinely sorry for all of the in the background.
That's all right. We're used to it with Riley.
45's in the post, yeah?
I just dropped in the link there in the chat, Josh, on Skype, a link to the footage that Travis got that was not available to Rob in Australia today for some reason. Probably worth playing
in
when
Skype?
we come back. Yeah, in Skype.
Do you know where in Skype?
In this calls chat. Sorry, not Skype. We're not on Skype. Zoom, aren't we? You know, Zoom, whatever.
Gotcha.
Anyway, see you after the break.
Right then.
See you soon.
Boys,
do you need a minute, Adam?
No, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Who's cutting up lines?
Oh no, I'm just grinding my weed. Allow me. It's my weed. It's my weed. It's just a grinder and some cannabis.
We believe you. Don't worry.
Right, mute up, boys and girls. Then let's get out of here.
Doing it.
Let's come
Just
back.
double check your screen share there, Adam, because you're sharing your OBS, not Gravity.
I've got it just sharing for you because it's easier that way in terms of output for OBS.
Oh, I thought we were having welcome to the show instead of Gravity.
I thought because it's Moon, that's just for you.
Everybody needs to head on over to Red Hen Radio over here on YouTube and hit subscribe real quick during the break, and then head on back over here. That's REDHENN space radio, Red Hen Radio. Head on over there, hit subscribe. That's my plug for effing up his promo.
And the Plain Truth channel.
That's right, the Plain Truth.
Right, let's get out of here.
Now that's you, Adam.
I'm ready for a bit of Gravity. So
no need to talk.
Mute your mic, please, Mr. Savage.
After you.
I'll be last.
Like that. Chicken. Right.
Okay.
Let's get out of here. Let's have a bit of Gravity and we'll see you after the break.
So enthusiastically.
We're up pretty high, our heads are almost in the clouds,
No, this is the bit where we don't hear it and everyone else
fade
does.
a change to the ground with their chains of misery. They've got a hold of me. They won't let go of me. Let go of me. They might have gravity on their side, but something's pulling us high. don't have what it takes. I say yeah, they're wrong enough, and we'll show them someday. They might have gravity on their side, but something's pulling us high. Got the potential to fly. Oh yeah, don't let them be what holds you back from this one incredible chance. They're lucky to have had a glance at you. Oh, you defy gravity. You defy gravity. You defy gravity. Yeah, yeah. At you, oh, you defy gravity.
And we'll be right back after this.